Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Alone Together from writer, director, and star Katie Holmes, who very obviously watched a ton of romantic comedies or romantic dramas and was like, I can write one of those, but it's COVID. Let's set it during COVID, which is everybody's favorite subgenre right now is COVID-related films, and specifically COVID lockdown romances. And this film finds a New York socialite played by Katie Holmes, who is a food reviewer, is a journalist, big city girl, originally from the Midwest, but goes out into the country to avoid COVID, and when her boyfriend, Derek Luke's character, doesn't join her and sticks with his parents instead, she feels dejected. She shows up to this place after a long, hard journey to get to this Airbnb to find Jim Sturgess' character was double booked with her, and he's a blue-collar guy, and of course, they don't get along at first, but, you know, they become smitten with each other, and of course, they fall for each other. You've seen this movie before. You've probably seen quite a few of these since COVID happened, and it feels very stereotypical. Katie Holmes, I think, from a directing standpoint, is very clean-cut. It's nothing special, but it's well shot. There's not a ton of personality to the filmmaking, but at least it's well done. From a writing standpoint, I do like Holmes' character and Sturgess' character. They have some depth. They both have trauma. They both have relationships they're trying to process through, or breakups they're trying to process through. There's loss and grief along the way as well that they're trying to process. And, you know, you have some nice moments of them hitting it off, and I think they have good chemistry, and I think both actors do a fine job. I don't think Katie Holmes is the strongest actress out there, and Jim Sturgess does a fine job too. You have a little bit of Melissa Leo sprinkled in there as Sturgess' mother, and who has some interactions throughout the film. There's one particular point, because like this is an hour and 40 minutes. It could have easily been an hour and 30 minutes, but there's this divergence that goes on in the third act that feels so lethargic and just drags for so long. I felt like they could have gotten what they were trying to get at thematically and story-wise could have been resolved so much quicker, but it just screeches the film to a halt, and that really brought it down for me, honestly. I was going to be like, hey, this is a solid, slightly above average film, but like at that point I'm just like, well, I've sat through all these cliches and tropes of romances, these cliches and tropes of COVID-related films, and now this is dragging a bit, and even I think what is a nice finale kinda didn't have the impact it should have, because I was kinda checked out at that point because some of the story choices towards the end kinda just dragged it out a little bit too much. But in the end, I think there's a real solid romance. It's a solid COVID-era film, but please stop making them. We lived it. We get it. Move on. But if you're a big romance film fan, I think you'll really enjoy this. If you're not really into romance, this really doesn't do anything new, but I do think it was a nice playing ground for Holmes to kind of flex her other talents in terms of a writer and a director. But those are my thoughts on Alone Together. Let me know what you think. Let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.